Am I the asshole for yelling at my boyfriend for talking to his family while we stay with them? So me, 22F, and my boyfriend, 22M, were living together during the pandemic. He moved into the place I was renting, and when things began to open up, we decided to get our own place together. We don't have a lot of money because we just graduated, but we had a little bit saved up and we found a lovely place about 3 hours drive away from where we were and where his family live. My past with my family is kind of difficult and we're not very open with our business. My parents are low-key narcissist racists who are still my family, but spending a while with them is difficult. Whereas my boyfriend is lucky to have an amazingly supportive family who he shares everything with, but I am just completely not used to that dynamic at all. We've talked before about how I've always been an independent and private person and how I'm just more comfortable with my business being exactly that, as he's the exact opposite. It's never really been a problem until recently though. I found out that I lost my job due to COVID shutting the business down, and because I just graduated this month I've been struggling to find a solid income. We make just enough to survive, but this month has been the most difficult as it was my mum's 50th and my brother and sister, who earn a lot, decided to get the immediate family together and spend lots of money on presents and decorations. I don't want to be an ass, so I spend what I can, which ends up being quite a big chunk of my savings. Because we had to come back down and it was a surprise, me and my boyfriend have been staying at his parents'. After the 3 days of party celebrations were over and I'm pretty much broke now, I was sitting in the living room of my boyfriend's house when his parents came in. They sat down and basically said that they've been told I've been struggling with money and they can help it if we need it, and that instead of buying a train ticket back they can drive us back to where we live. I was a little taken aback because I assumed that they knew we weren't drowning in money, but they knew exactly how much was in my bank account and were saying that it's not enough money to survive on, it's about £50 atmospheres. As absolutely thankful that I was that they were offering to help, I just couldn't stop thinking about how mad I was at my boyfriend. He knew I didn't like people knowing my business, but he told them how much money was in my bloody bank account. So I basically yelled at him for the first time in our 3-year relationship, saying that there's no point in me having passwords on anything, seeing as it's all public knowledge now apparently. I don't really get mad that often, but I yelled for a long time. I kind of feel like a prick now though, and I'm thinking of apologizing for being too harsh. I just feel so uncomfortable around his parents now though, also because unsurprisingly they know that we fought. So am I the asshole? Edit. I really didn't want to spend money for my mum's birthday, but my brother, sister and auntie massively guilted me into it because they don't understand my situation, because I don't like telling them. FYI, I was already financially struggling before the party and I only pitched it what I could and still stay afloat. Also I thanked my boyfriend's parents for their offer of help and declined it because I know what I'm doing to get myself out of this situation and I want to do this myself. Final edit. Well, I've gotten a lot of varying replies, probably more veering to the "you are the asshole" because I yelled at him, and I accept that I shouldn't have. It's not productive and I think I was just more angry at myself and was projecting it onto him. In terms of my finances, I understand that I shouldn't have spent money on my mum's birthday that I didn't have, but I don't think I deserve the mantle of asshole for being bad at my finances at 22. For my boyfriend telling his parents, because we had previously talked about how it makes me uncomfortable, I thought he would understand, so we had another talk today. He apologized for telling them any specifics about my finances. He said he just wasn't thinking, and I of course forgive him. I apologized for yelling and getting angry, and he forgave me as well. His money is his and my money is mine. Unless we were married, which we're not, but we're a team and there's nothing we can't fix together. Him going behind my back to his parents upset me, but I totally see now that he wasn't being malicious. Everything will be alright when my universal credit comes through. Okay, hand medium light skin tone. Boyfriend overshared. I agree with that. But you also overreacted. Also, if money is tight, you should not feel pressured to keep up financially with others who are not. If 3 days of celebrations and expensive gifts are out of your budget, then act accordingly. That would have avoided the situation in the first place. You are the asshole. Unfortunately, your ego caused you spending for thing out of your budget. Your BFF and his family sounds really nice and sweet. If you consider them your family instead of an outsider, you'd be less embarrassed. You are the asshole both for yelling at your boyfriend and for spending most of your savings to keep up with the Joneses, i.e. your more affluent family. Your boyfriend is also an asshole for discussing your skewed priorities with his parents. He's not wrong in being concerned. You are the asshole. They offer a helping hand and you bite it off. Also the fact that you guys struggle and you go broke on a party because your brother and sister who earn a lot is messed up. He didn't even call you out on that and offers help, and this is how you repay him? Poor dude. Very much so. You're far too prideful. Sorry, but you are the asshole here. Pride is great until it becomes a burden. You felt like you had to spend more money than you could afford in order to save face. They're your family. You could have just let them know that you couldn't put as much money in this year. I'm sure they wouldn't have wanted you to use the last of your money on it. You live with your partner now, so your income does affect him when it gets that low. I understand being embarrassed, and it might have been better to have spoken to you first, but it all seems to have been done out of love, kindness. You are the asshole. Not for being embarrassed or overwhelmed, because that's just human. Your situation is tricky and you truly can use the help. Your boyfriend was solving the issue in a way that comes natural to him, reaching out to family. I think you are the asshole. I get why your boyfriend disclosing that info would make you upset, but it wasn't done maliciously. His family wants to help you out, and I think yelling at your boyfriend about it was an overreaction. You could have told him, calmly, why what he did upset you. Am I the asshole for not wanting to share my college fund? Throwaway account. I, 19 female, have an aunt, Amy, 38 female, who I love and she loves me dearly. It's never been explicitly stated, but between my sister, Kim, 17 female, and I'm the favorite niece. I didn't really notice I was around my early teens, but whenever I had an event my aunt would always try to be there while she was never there for anything my sister did. I got nicer presents, there are pictures of me in her house, and she texts, calls me regularly. She barely acknowledges my sister and I never knew why. One of the reasons why it took so long for me to notice was because whenever someone would mention something about the different treatment our mom would brush it off. And since Amy was my paternal aunt I just accepted it. Fast forward to now and my mom sat me down and asked me if I would be willing to go to a less expensive school so I could have extra money to share with Kim. Aunt Amy set up a fund for me and my two cousins, but didn't have a dime for Kim. She did this with Kim looking at me for an answer and got upset that I didn't give a definite, yes. She accused me of not caring about her just like Aunt Amy and is refusing to speak to me until I give her half the money. I thought that this was wildly unfair and asked my parents why they didn't have their own fund for Kim since Aunt Amy was taking care of me. They said that they did, but it wasn't as much as what Aunt Amy had for me. She's a smart woman who makes a lot of money, and admitted that they had to dip into it to help pay for things when my dad wasn't working because of COVID. I feel bad for Kim, but I don't want to sacrifice my future college experience for it. Am I really being so maliciously selfish? ETA. Hey everyone. Sorry I haven't been responding, I had to run out and do some errands, but I wanted to address some questions, comments. 1. Growing up I did notice that Aunt Amy had a bigger presence in my life and she always had some excuse for not being in Kim's. I have to work, I have prior commitment that I can't back out of, I'm sick, etc. 2. Yes. Growing up I do recall that every now and then my cousins or sister would ask why Aunt Amy treated 3/4 of us differently and the adults would act like we were being ridiculous or just brush it off. I always took this as us kids just making stuff up and would trust that my parents, uncle's wife, or my paternal grandparents would step in and do something about it. Now that I'm older and starting to look back on things I can now get a better understanding that it was indeed favoritism. 3. No, it has never crossed my mind that I may be my aunt's secret daughter. It also wouldn't explain why she spends time with me and my cousins but leaves out Kim. If all of the attention was just on me I'd be more inclined to believe it, but for now. Number 4. I'm not gonna rule it out 100%, but I'm gonna say no to Kim and me having different dads. I am older than her and my parents were already married when I was born. I don't believe that Kim is an affair baby because it doesn't explain why only my Aunt Amy treats her differently. If my entire paternal side treated Kim differently I would feel more inclined to believe it. 5. In regards to the fund itself. I've never actually seen it but I know it's there because my aunt says it's there and my twin cousins are already in college using it. I'm not too sure about the rules of the fund because I just trust my aunt but I will look into it. 6. I'm not saying that I'm unwilling to share any of the money. I just don't want to give up half because I really want to go to my school of choice which is out of state and will be more expensive. 7. One of the main reasons why I was so reluctant was because I felt put on the spot and was being cornered and pressured for an answer, which I resent. ETA 2. Even though I was out running errands I've given it a lot of thought and think having a sit down with the adults in my life to figure this out may be what's best. Not the asshole. Amy can do what she likes with her money and you should be able to go to whichever school you choose. However, I am surprised your parents haven't called Amy on this. If it was me, I'd need to sit down with Amy and ask her outright why there's favorites. You knew there was favoritism. You witnessed the favoritism and it's quite hard to believe. You didn't take advantage of that favoritism. Let's be real for a minute. That being said, it was given to you and it's yours to do with as you please. Your aunt is a giant asshole and so are your parents for not being objective enough to see it when it started. Your sister will resent you. She's right to do so because you took advantage of the situation instead of calling it out and possibly having to share, many years ago. You reap what you sow. You are the asshole. Yes, of course you have no obligation to share your fund. It's within every right to go to the more expensive school and have your parents figure it out. However, I don't know how you could morally be okay with accepting all of this money fully aware there was favoritism and your sister continues to get the shitty end of everything. If I had the opportunity to help my little sister, damn right I'd split it with her. Info. You make a point to say that she is your paternal aunt. Is your aunt not related to your sister? Wow. Is every adult in your life an arsehole? Edit. Judgment not the asshole, for this specific incident. But in the wider sense everyone sucks here except your sister who kinda feels like she's just been shit on. I just need more info here PLS. Why was your mother so quick to brush off the favoritism? How many other cousins were left out of the college fund set up? Why is everyone okay treating your sister like dirt? I have a hunch there is something else going on here below the surface. Your aunt's favoritism is blatantly unfair. Your parents were pathetic for allowing it. And now you've got the chance to balance the scales and you're being greedy. I know that legally you can do what you want. But you're certainly carrying on the asshole tradition of your family. You are the asshole, come on, you've known for years that you're being favored over your sister. It's one thing when you get nicer Christmas presents, but getting a much bigger college fund is a different ballgame. Am I the asshole for not lending my ex-coworker $35? A month ago, my ex-coworker Dana, 38F, lost her kid. She called me the morning after it happened. I, 20M, was stunned. She asked to borrow $30 to make it to the service, as her husband had taken the car. I was naive and disoriented so I sent her the money. She hasn't paid me back and she most likely never will. I'm okay with that, her son died and I will never know loss like that. I didn't mind losing the $30, but what bothered me is that I found out the service was a week after the kid's death. I have to think that $30 went to something else but I'm not going to ask and I truly don't want to know. Today I visited my parents' house today to spend some time with my sister for her birthday. Tomorrow we're going to a theme park to celebrate with her friend, which has been expensive. I also had a doctor's APPT today, which was to fix an issue with hormones in my body. Uninsured, so it cost $135 out of pocket. I also have to get blood work done which will cost more money. Medication I need will cost more money. Car insurance is also due Monday, so I have a strict budget. When I get to town, Dana texts me. She and her kids are stranded at a state park back where I live, 3 hours away. She asks for a lift, and I explain I can't. She says that no one else, her family included, has responded to her. And that I am the only one able to help. I apologize again and ask if there's anything I can do. She then asks me for $35 for an Uber back to her house. I told her I don't have a lot of money right. I could technically give her $35 and still be okay. But I just don't want to give her money again if I know I won't get it back. She offered to pay me back, but I refused. I'm taking of 2 teenage girls tomorrow at an overpriced theme park. I honestly need every dollar I can use. She says she understands, and I tell her to let me know what happens and if I can do anything else to help. Within 4 hours, she says she contacted the non-emergency police line and various truckers for help with no luck. She has her 3 kids in the car with her. She tells this to me and all I say back is that I'm sorry. She asks me again for money, saying that she'll pay me back with the stimulus checks sitting in her mailbox. Alarm bells start going off in my head. She's had this stimulus check for at least a month now, she couldn't have cashed that in earlier? Wouldn't she have needed money for the funeral or the service? Even though I'm naive, this didn't sit well for me. I decline once more, and again extend my apologies and tell her to keep me updated. She just sends back K and hasn't texted me since. It's been a few hours and I've told my roommate about this. My roommate kind of tore into me, saying that since I don't understand what she's going through, The best I can do is send her money in her time of need, especially since I told her I could technically still have the money to give. But IDK, I feel like I'm being scammed. Am I the asshole? Real quick edit before bed. Clara and I have been FaceTiming for over an hour and we have fallen into a rabbit hole. We're having a difficult time finding if her children even exist. No obituaries, death reports, birth certificates, nothing. Literally going insane right now. Thank you for all the support, I'll let you know what we find. Current plan is to stake out her house sometime next week. None of us have actually been to her house, met her kids. The only picture we've seen of her children looks heavily photoshopped. This woman's life may be an entire lie. Not the asshole. Report this behavior to work please. This is seriously out of line and not your job to take care of her. Info. This ex-coworker's story doesn't make sense. She called me the morning after it happened. I, 20M, was stunned. She asked to borrow $30 to make it to the service. Her child died, and she called you, an ex-coworker, to borrow money in order to make it to her own child service? This seems so very unlikely to me that she had no friends or family members willing to help her, and there was absolutely no one else going to this child service who was willing to give her a ride to her own child service. I'm sorry for being so suspicious and cynical that I would question someone telling me their child died, but I doubt this story is true. Did you know the child? Did you know anyone who attended the service? Not the asshole. It's her responsibility to care for her kids. Sucks that they're stranded, but it's not your job to bail her out. I don't understand how she has kids, no roadside service, and zero money to get home when she traveled 3 hours. That's a weird situation that she needs to figure out. Not the asshole. I think she's telling you stories to get you to give her money. Is it possible that she's an addict? Because $30.35 seems like a decent amount for some kind of fix. NTA, it sounds like a scam for drug money. Listen to your gut. Not the asshole for not giving her money, and I'm very certain that she is a compulsive liar. How did she get to the state park in the first place? If this was truly the case and you were the only one responding to her at a time of emergency, that's a giant red flag. She got $30 from you and thought it would be easy to do it again. For future though, I wouldn't go into details on your own finances. Just say you don't have it, you're sorry. Also, don't be guilty because you technically have it. You never know when you might run into an issue where you needed that extra $30. Not the asshole, she doesn't even work with you anymore. Block her number. Not the asshole. She only hits you up for money. And where is her husband at? I feel like she knows that you're going to give it to her and that's why she keeps nagging you for it. Am I the asshole for getting mad at my partner for buying me salt and vinegar chips? Me, F late 20s, and my boyfriend Elliot, M late 20s. I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years and we live together, are generally very happy and work really well together. We both work full-time, no kids or pets, and we are lucky that we make roughly the same money, so it's pretty easy splitting things up. We split all communal expenses and bills 50-50 and then each have the rest of our money for whatever we want. Elliot is a deals guy. I'm not going to say, extreme couponer, because it's not that bad, but he does heavily pay attention to deals and sales going on. We'll go to different stores to get different deals, we'll buy what's on sale and stock up, etc. This is fine most of the time, but sometimes it pisses me off. He does most of the shopping because he enjoys looking for the deals and then I pay him back, and it's to the point with him that no matter what I put on the list, if he can get a cheaper version he will. So for example, if I ask for brand name cheese and there's a sale on no name, he will get no name. Or if he sees sugar is on sale, he'll buy 4 bags of it, even if we don't need it. Stuff like that. This has caused a few arguments because he just doesn't see the big deal in minor switches. Again, usually I don't care, but sometimes it's really annoying. This brings me to what happened today. Every week I choose a different flavor of chips to have for that week. It's my little treat for the week, and I enjoy picking out a different flavor each week to pack in my lunches for work. This week, I put salt and vinegar chips on the list. So my partner goes and does the shopping, and he comes home with 8 large bags of salt and vinegar chips. Yes, 8. I'm like, what is this? And he says that there was a massive deal on those chips, so he decided to stock up. I was so annoyed. He doesn't eat chips, so this is all for me. And it's not like salt and vinegar are my favorite by any means or anything. Like I said, I switch flavors every week, which he knows I enjoy doing. So we had a conversation and I told him it was ridiculous and he shrugged me off and said he can't pass up a good deal, and it's fine because chips don't really go bad. So I eat salt and vinegar chips for 2 weeks and then I put a different flavor on the list, and he gets annoyed and says I still have 5 bags of chips at home that I should finish first so as to not waste money. I'll admit I got pretty mad, and said that he actually has 5 bags of chips at home that he can decide what to do with, and that I will be buying a different flavor, and if he won't get them I'll go get them myself. I definitely hurt his feelings, and I feel pretty bad. He really takes pride in saving us money and finding good deals, and he does save us a good chunk each month. He grew up poor and I didn't, so I'm sure this affects how we approach money as well. Am I the asshole for kind of throwing a fit over a bag of chips? Edit. There's a lot of commenters saying that my partner is doing a huge favor for me by doing the shopping, and that I can do my own shopping if I'm not happy. I am not sure if this is because you are thinking of traditional female-male roles. But I want to clarify that he does the shopping because he wants to, so we have arranged that that is one of his chores. I do all of the laundry, I do all of the cooking, etc. We have an equal household. I think it's completely fair to expect him to pick up my items when he shops, just as he expects me to do his laundry when I'm doing mine. Not the asshole. This isn't about the chips. This is about your boyfriend deliberately ignoring basic requests and steamrolling you. It ain't much of a deal if he's buying bulk food that nobody wants to eat. Not the asshole, but please inform your boyfriend that just because something is on special, it doesn't make it good value to you if you don't need it. Not the asshole. He needs to overcome that poverty habit. I used to be the same way. My grandma was the same way. My mom was the same way. Just because it's a good deal, doesn't mean it should come home with you every time. Sometimes the human and joy aspect needs to come before the money aspect. And he needs to understand that. It's hard to do and took me months in therapy to get over that. It's okay not to always get the best deal in the short term if it means being comfortable and happier over the long term. Not the asshole. Some bargain hunters don't realize they are just wasting money buying more products than they can consume. I have read several articles in Money Magazine and Kiplinger's that caution against bulk buying more than you consume because actually you're spending more money. I don't care how good the offer is unless it's stable ready food we consume regularly, laundry detergent, cleaning products or something I can freeze and consume within a month. I pass on the deal. Not the asshole. I don't understand why his thrift habit won't accommodate your small requests. Not like you said you would never eat the chips. Do all the people saying YTA expect you to eat the same flavor weeks on end because your partner found a good deal? What planet do they live on? You deserve to enjoy what you enjoy. If it's his job to get it, he better get to it. Not the asshole. Other commenters have made a lot of points I agree with. Or that not the asshole opinion is specifically supported based on the line, chips don't go bad. It's true, to an extent. And so sometimes I'll buy chips or other things in bulk when they are on sale. But when you wanted to rotate to the next chip flavor while still having some salt and vinegar bags left, those could just stay in the cupboard, pantry until you cycled back to them. I recognize not all households have room for bulk purchases like this, so maybe that's a factor. It seems like it's about a lot more than a bag of chips. I wouldn't say you are the asshole. It sounds like you've told him multiple times how you don't like his buying habits, and he's just ignoring them. Not the asshole. What makes you think chips aren't going to go stale in 8 weeks? You didn't save us shit. You wasted money. Stop wasting money.